Today we're going to build a worm bin out of a easy to find plastic tub. It only takes a few minutes with a few tools and it's really easy. Let me show you how to do it. Okay, so here are the tools that we're going to use to build this worm bin. First we have, of course, the bin. This is a 30-gallon bin I got at Walmart for $8.75. This is the drain we're going to install. This cap is removable, slides in there, and then this little lever comes down to pinch it shut, make a watertight seal. There's no moving parts or anything, so you can get the leach out or clean it out if you need to. This is a sort of washer that screws down at the top of this grommet, or rubber washer, this nut. This is a plastic tube that will fit over the end. Let me warn you, don't put the tube on until you're ready to install it permanently. It does not come off easily and has a tendency to break. This one is actually broken already. The screen here is going to go over the tube on the bottom, and that's going to help further filter out any of the worm castings. A wrench for installation. Here we have the drill bits. This is the right size for this. It's a 1 1/8 inch drill bit, which is going to create a 1 1/8 inch hole. And this is just another drill bit, just about the right size for drilling ventilation holes. The drill, of course, measuring tape, pencil, scissors. So let's get started. Okay, so when you're drilling the hole, the first thing you got to look at is your drain itself. It's going to fit through a hole in the bin, flush. In order to keep it watertight, it's got this rubber washer. The rubber washer needs to sit completely flat, almost completely flat, up against the wall so that you can tighten it down. And this nut on the back also needs to be flat against the wall. So when you're looking at the bin, you have to look at this curve and make sure that neither the nut nor the washer are going to have run into the curve. So it's got to be just high enough off the bottom for that. You can pretty much eyeball this, but if you have to err a millimeter or so high. You'll want to put it in the middle. So you measure it, this is about 14 inches, so the middle's about 7. Just make a little mark right there, and then I can just use the washer to figure out the exact placement, right in the middle. Make another mark. You get a drill bit. This drill bit is good for plastic. It's a spade bit, but it has the extra cutting burrs on the corners here. Since the plastic is so thin, you really don't want to scrape into it. You just kind of want to slice around in a circle. So we'll just put this right on our mark and drill. Now when you're going to drill the ventilation holes on the top, the most important thing is just get a bunch of them in there. You want to get oxygen in there. Don't drill them on the edges or close to the edge, because that'll make it more likely to split when you snap or unsnap the top. You can pretty much use any pattern you want. I usually just start with the center point, which you can usually find with a little dot. Measure out every couple inches, like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and go both sides, and then do the same going up. And then it's easy enough to just eyeball the intersections. If it's going to bother you a lot, measure each one individually. I don't think that's important. Okay, so now the hole is drilled. You can see that it's pretty ragged. You need to go really slow when you cut plastic. I'm not too concerned about it because the rubber washer is going to make sure the seal works anyway. Drain's going to go right through the hole with the rubber washer on the outside. And you put the rubber washer on the outside so that you don't have to worry about the threads being watertight. The nut gets screwed on the top here. You can hand tighten this, just tighten it down nice and tight. It'll be enough to be watertight. If you're worried, use a wrench. And the front of the drain has these little grooves in it. You can put a quarter or something in there to hold it while you tighten it. You then take your plastic tubing, mesh tubing. This helps to keep the drain open. It snaps right on there. Like I told you before, don't snap it down until you know it's in the right place. It's really hard to remove. I then like to put a piece of fiberglass screen over this. This helps to further filter out any debris from the drain. It's not strictly necessary, but it does help. I usually don't even trim it at this point. I just let it travel up the sides and put the compost in. But you can use scissors or anything else to trim this down. That concludes the how-to video on building a worm bin, and I hope you learned something and hope you have fun building your worm bin.